Welcome to Edison Open House Global Healthcare 2021. In this session, we're going to highlight the work of Creo Medical. It's a company working in the emerging field of therapeutic endoscopy. With me is Chief Commercial Officer David Woods. David, welcome.
Hi, Vivienne. Nice to be here.
Now, most people are familiar with endoscopy as a diagnostic tool, but this is not what you're about. It's really endoscopy sort of taken to a whole new height. Tell me about what it involves.
Yeah, the history of endoscopy started in diagnostics, and it was primarily focused on finding disease, and it was an extension of the camera business. But over time, as the componentry got smaller and smaller, we're able to do more through these instruments, and that's when the interventional side or the therapeutic side came into an endoscopy. So you're right. We're very much a therapeutic company focused on the addressing of disease when we find disease.
So presumably the big advantage of endoscopy is that it doesn't involve abdominal surgery, which is really very invasive and takes a long time to recover from.
Yes, when people talk about minimally invasive procedures, that's what we do. So whether it's issues in the esophagus, whether it's issues in the stomach, the colon, issues with your pancreas, your liver, even the lungs. Those are areas that we access through minimally invasive imaging technology, and then we deliver therapy through the channels of those instruments to address disease.
Now, advanced energy is a particular feature of your systems. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so we're an energy company. Our company was started by a gentleman by the name of Chris Hancock, who's a very brilliant researcher in multimodal energy. Microwave was the foundation for the business, but we're also very much involved in bipolar, RF, and other energies. Taking these energies, delivering them in a multimodal format allows us to be very precise in the delivery of energy, and we also believe safer in terms of eradicating disease with our advanced energy platform, our CAMAPTIV platform.
Now we understand what therapeutic endoscopy is. Tell us a bit more about the company and where it's going at the moment.
The company is a very innovative company. The portfolio of IP is extensive. There's many areas of potential focus based on the need for very precise, safe energy delivery, cancer eradication in areas like the pulmonary space, pancreatic space, areas of unmet need are areas of focus for us. We're very much focused on the GI side of the business today, as well as the pulmonary side of the business. But we also have lots of opportunities in other spaces, whether it be, as I mentioned, pulmonary, colorectal, general surgery, et cetera. But right now we're very much focused on the GI side of the business and the pulmonary side of the business.
And do you work with partners, or is this something that you commercialize yourselves?
So we're commercializing this ourselves. So I've been involved with Creo for about 5 years. Before that, I was working at Pentax for a long period of time. And we invested in Creo because we were really excited about the technology. And then over the last 5 years, Creo went public, and we've been building an organization around the technology. And I was so excited about the talent within the organization and the potential of the technology that I decided to come on board full time. What I've been focused on is building the commercial side of the business to effectively productize the innovations and commercialize the products in all markets. So we've been very much focused on building a team in the United States, building a team in APAC, strengthening the team in Europe. And we're actively going to be promoting these products ourselves in our focused areas of GI and pulmonary.
What would you say is your lead program, and how do you take these devices through the necessary regulatory markets or regulatory requirements?
Okay. Our lead program is our speedboat technology, which was designed for submucosal dissection. So we call it speedboat submucosal dissection. It's the eradication of tumors that can be, in the colon, it can be in the esophagus, it can be in the stomach. There are other devices on the market that have been doing endoscopic submucosal dissection. So those were predicate products, and Creo is bringing technology that we believe has better clinical outcomes, is safer, it's more cost effective, but we've taken the regulatory pathway that some of our predecessors have embarked on before us. So we're bringing next generation technology that we think addresses the fundamental pillars, which are better clinical outcomes, better economic outcomes, better patient satisfaction, and better provider satisfaction.
So that's a kind of incremental product, as it were. But what about other areas in which, you stand ahead of the competition?
It's incremental, but it's also very, very different. And the reason being, because of the safety, because of the ability to learn the technology faster, ESD, endoscopic submucosal dissection, which is the therapy delivered by our tools, was started in Japan. And the training for this procedure takes a long time. So it takes up to a year in many, many cases to be done. Our technology is one device that allows us to lift the lesion. It allows us to cut the lesion. It allows us to resect the lesion with one device. It's simpler than historically. So although it is an evolution of other technology, it's very disruptive in terms of safety and efficacy. But to answer your question, there are other technologies that we're developing and have been CE approved for ablation, hemostasis, resection, vessel sealing, et cetera, that I think address other markets as well in a very innovative way. Another interesting product is microblade fine. This was recently done first in humans in Ecuador with Carlos Robles, treating pancreatic tumors. This technology is very exciting based on the precision of the energy delivered, based on the ability to address, very sick patients that don't have lots of options, and based on, simple delivery, not too dissimilar from other technology called FNA, which is basically taking biopsies. So this is another example of our precise energy dealing with a real, unmet clinical need.
So just for people who don't know about pancreatic tumors, they're very inaccessible. It's usually major surgery to get at them. And as you say, the patients may be already very sick by the time they reach this point.
Yeah, no, the pancreatic cancer is one of the leading cancer killers in the world. The mortality rates are not very good. There's an old saying in the GI business: if you bite the pancreas bites back. And what that means is, if you're not very precise in terms of what you do, then you have major complications like pancreatitis. So the delivery of energy, very much specifically to the tumor, is very, very important. And the Comaptive technology, which is multimodal technology, mostly focused on microwave in this instance, allows us to be very precise in the delivery of the technology on the tumor itself, or in the tumor itself.
What sort of markets are you targeting?
So we're focused on GI. We think there's a lot of unmet needs in the GI space. In the pulmonary space, though, there's a big issue with lung cancer, right? So we're seeing better and better diagnostics, getting access to peripheral lesions in the bronchial tree and outside the bronchial tree, but there isn't much therapy. And we have the ability to deliver therapy as long as the diagnostics get to the lesions. So that's a big area of focus for us as well.
What territories are you targeting?
We're targeting Europe, we're targeting the United States, and we're targeting Asia Pacific, primarily China, but other markets like Japan and Korea as well. Creo is a UK-based company, so a lot of the early work has been done in the UK, but we're expanding in markets like Spain, Germany, France, Belgium. I'm in the process of building the business in the United States with the headquarters here in Connecticut. We're very excited about the early work that's been done in this marketplace, and we see lots of potential. We're also developing our Asia Pacific business with a focus on China, as well as Korea and Japan, and we're building a headquarters in Singapore and soon in China as well.
And are there different forms of disease in each of those territories? Is it quite different one from another?
Yes, in the Eastern markets, we're dealing with more esophageal and gastric cancer. And we think, I'm not a doctor, but we think it relates a lot to the diet that people have and different activities that they do. In the Western markets, it's more colon cancer. So the different products that we have approach the disease a little bit different, and the practice is a little bit different, but not too different. So in the Eastern markets, we're focused mostly on the esophagus and the stomach with squamous cell carcinoma. In the Western markets, we're focused more on the colon with colon cancer.
What could investors look forward to in terms of milestones over the next 6 to 12 months from Creo?
I think investors can look for continued development of the technology, market development of the technology. So we're going to see first in man with many of the newer devices. We're going to see more clinical data coming out in terms of the efficacy of the devices. We're going to see leading institutions that are helping us do market development with some of these devices, opinion leaders publishing, things of that nature. So we're excited that the people that we're talking to are very excited about the technology, and I think we're going to see that with large user community bases being built and people talking about the technology.
And what about your cash runway? Because that all sounds expensive.
Yeah, actually, we've done a good job in terms of managing our balance sheet. I think we're well funded. At the end of the day, I think we're very focused in terms of the markets that we're going after, the leaders within those markets that we're going after, the training and development programs that we're doing. So we're not taking, we're taking more of a rifle shot than a shotgun approach to the marketplace. So we're very conscious of where we're spending our money and how it develops the markets that we need to develop.
Finally, what about the impact of COVID? Because that, has halted so many procedures, and I imagine that, gastroenterology is no different.
Yeah, so COVID's been a big impact on everybody. Physicians have had to take care of patients with the disease versus doing what they normally do, which is diagnosing disease and treating disease in the GI space as well as the pulmonary space. What we've been doing as an early stage company is focusing on our fundamentals to come out of this crisis stronger. So developing the markets, developing the teams of people, developing the technology and the tools to use the technology effectively in Asia Pacific, in the US, in the greater Europe. We've used this time to effectively do this. As it relates to our customers, they're going to have lots of cases to do in terms of not only diagnosis, but treating of patients that have already been diagnosed with disease. So we're going to be better positioned to help them deal with some of the capacity issues that they have, the caseloads that they have, with a more balanced, experienced, and effective team.
Now, 2020, as you say, has been absolutely terrible year for many people. You chose 2020 as the time to join Creo as its Chief Commercial Officer. Tell me how things have changed for you and how you are looking forward to this year, 2021.
So things for me haven't changed that much. So I've been involved with the company now for some time, but I joined, as you mentioned, about 6 months ago. I'm really excited to be here. And the biggest reason is because we've got an innovative spirit focused on helping patients. And that's not necessarily easy to find with organizations at times. We can take that innovation, we can bring that to market. We can do the necessary fundamentals to get this technology out to a wider audience. So I'm very, very excited about that. I'm excited about building and strengthening a team that executes effectively. So I've been in the space for over 20 years, and many of the people that I brought on or working closely with, I've known for some time. So we know what we need to do to be successful. And at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, which is better patient care, more access to the right technology. We want to make a difference. So I'm more excited than I've ever been because I've got a team that's innovating and I've got a team that's going to be executing, and that's pretty fun.
David Woods, Chief Commercial Officer of Creo Medical, thank you so much.
Thank you, Vivienne.